The rain hammered against the windows of our small apartment in Seattle, mirroring the storm raging inside me. Alaric, a 43-year-old IT specialist, stared blankly at the screen, the lines of code blurring before my eyes. I couldn't focus. Not since I'd found the messages. It had started subtly, a nagging feeling that something was off with Bronte, my wife of 15 years. She'd always been a vibrant, outgoing woman, a stark contrast to my introverted nature. A talented graphic designer, Bronte thrived on social interaction, while I found solace in the quiet hum of servers and the predictable logic of programming. We were different, yes, but that's what I loved about us. We balanced each other, or so I thought. The late nights at work had become more frequent, the excuses more elaborate. A big project, she'd say, her eyes darting away from mine. The client is demanding. I didn't question it. I trusted her. I always had. Till I saw the phone. It was late. Bronte was asleep, her phone lying face down on the nightstand. A notification popped up, illuminating the screen with a name I didn't recognize. Lysander. Curiosity, a dangerous seed, took root. I told myself it was nothing, a harmless work thing, but the seed had already sprouted. I picked up the phone, my heart pounding in my chest. Her passcode, which I knew by heart, opened the device to a flood of messages. Messages filled with longing, with passion, with lies. "I can't wait to see you tomorrow, my love," one read. "This project is killing me, but seeing you makes it all worthwhile." Another message, sent just hours before she came home, said, "I wish I could stay in your arms forever." My world tilted on its axis. Lysander. Who the hell was Lysander? The messages painted a picture of a secret affair, a clandestine romance that had been blooming right under my nose. I scrolled through weeks of conversations, each line a fresh wound. The Bronte I knew, the woman I loved, was a phantom, replaced by a deceitful stranger. The details were sickening. Lunch dates, stolen weekends, whispered phone calls during work trips. They had even planned a getaway to Vancouver, a romantic escape disguised as a business conference. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me, my stomach churning with betrayal. How could she do this to me? To us? I spent the rest of the night pacing the apartment, the rain outside intensifying as my anger grew. I replayed our entire relationship in my head, searching for clues I had missed, for signs of her unhappiness. Had I been so blind, so preoccupied with my own world, that I hadn't noticed her drifting away? When Bronte woke up, I was sitting on the couch, the phone clutched in my hand. She stretched, yawned, and smiled at me, a smile that now felt like a cruel mockery. "Morning, sleepyhead," she said, her voice cheerful. "What are you doing up so early?" I didn't say a word. I simply held out the phone. Her eyes widened as she recognized it, her face draining of color. The cheerful facade crumbled, replaced by a look of panic. What is this?" she stammered, her voice trembling. "You tell me, Bronte," I said, my voice flat, devoid of emotion. "Who is Lysander?" She tried to deny it, of course. "It's nothing, Alaric, I swear. He's just a colleague, we're working on a project together." But the lies sounded hollow, even to her own ears. The evidence was undeniable, staring her right in the face. "Don't insult my intelligence, Bronte," I said, my anger finally erupting. "I've read the messages, I know everything." The tears started then, the crocodile tears of a guilty woman caught in her own web of deceit. "I'm so sorry, Alaric," she sobbed. "It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far, it just happened," I repeated, incredulous. "You planned a weekend getaway with him. You exchanged countless messages filled with affection. How can you say it just happened?" She couldn't answer. She simply sat there weeping, offering pathetic excuses and empty apologies. "I was lonely," she said. "You were always working, always buried in your computer. I needed attention. So you sought attention from another man," I retorted. "Is that your justification? Because I was too busy providing for you?" The argument escalated, a torrent of accusations and recriminations. I felt like I was talking to a stranger, a woman I no longer recognized. The Bronte I knew would never have done something like this. Or had I never really known her at all? In the days that followed, the apartment became a battleground. We barely spoke, the silence filled with tension and resentment. I couldn't look at her without feeling a surge of anger and disgust. The trust was gone, shattered into a million pieces. I couldn't forgive her. I didn't want to. I moved into the spare bedroom, creating a physical distance to match the emotional chasm that had opened between us. I contacted a lawyer, initiated divorce proceedings. Bronte begged me to reconsider, promising to end the affair, to go to therapy, to do whatever it took to save our marriage. But it was too late. The damage was irreparable. I can't, Bronte, I said, my voice weary. You broke something that can't be fixed. I can't trust you anymore. I don't even think I like you anymore. She moved out a few weeks later, taking her belongings, her secrets, and her lies with her. The apartment felt empty without her, but it was a clean emptiness, a space free from deceit. I threw myself into my work, finding solace in the familiar patterns of code. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it was a distraction. I learned that Lysander was a younger colleague of Bronte's, a charming and ambitious designer who had swept her off her feet with his flattery and attention. He was married too, with 2 young children. The irony was almost unbearable. A few months later, I received a message from an unknown number. It was a screenshot of an email sent from Bronte to Lysander. "I'm leaving Alaric," it read. "I'm ready to start a new life with you. Just tell me you'll leave your wife too." Below the email was a reply from Lysander. "Bronte, I'm flattered, but I can't leave my family. This was just a bit of fun, a way to spice things up. I never intended for it to become anything serious." A wave of satisfaction washed over me. Karma. It had finally caught up to her. She had risked everything for a fleeting affair, and now she was left with nothing. No husband, no lover, just the bitter taste of regret. I didn't reply to the message. I didn't need to. I knew that Bronte's world was crumbling around her and I was finally free. But the story doesn't end there. A few weeks later, I received a call from a mutual friend, Isolde. She told me that Bronte was spiraling. She had lost her job, her friends, and her reputation. Lysander's wife had found out about the affair and exposed them both, leading to his dismissal from the company and a messy divorce. "She's a mess, Alaric," Isolde said. "She's lost everything. I think she needs help." I hesitated. Part of me wanted to gloat, to revel in her misery. But another part of me, the part that still remembered the woman I had once loved, felt a twinge of pity. "I don't know, Isolde," I said. "She hurt me deeply. I don't know if I can forgive her." "I'm not asking you to forgive her," Isolde replied. "I'm just asking you to be a decent human being. She needs help, Alaric, please just think about it." I thought about it for days, wrestling with my conscience. Could I really turn my back on someone I had once cared for, even after everything she had done? Was I capable of such coldness? Finally, I made a decision. I called Bronte. Her voice was weak, barely a whisper. "Alaric," she said, her voice filled with disbelief. "Bronte," I said, my voice neutral. "I heard you're going through a tough time." She started to cry. "I've lost everything, Alaric," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry, I ruined everything." "I know," I said. "Listen, I'm not going to pretend that I forgive you, because I don't. But I'm willing to help you get back on your feet. I can't offer you my love, but I can offer you my support." I helped her find a therapist, a new apartment, and a job. It wasn't easy. There were moments when I regretted my decision, when I wanted to wash my hands of her and walk away. But I persevered, driven by a sense of duty, a belief that even the most broken people deserve a second chance. Bronte slowly started to rebuild her life. She went to therapy, confronted her demons, and took responsibility for her actions. She never asked for my forgiveness, but she showed me through her actions that she was truly remorseful. Our relationship never returned to what it once was. The trust was gone, the love faded. But we forged a new kind of bond, a friendship based on respect and understanding. We were no longer lovers, but we were no longer enemies either. I eventually moved on, found love again with a woman named Gwendoline, who appreciated my quiet nature and valued my loyalty. Bronte even attended my wedding, offering her sincere congratulations. Looking back, I realized that Bronte's betrayal was the most painful experience of my life, but it was also a catalyst for growth. It forced me to confront my own weaknesses, to reevaluate my priorities, and to learn the true meaning of forgiveness. It wasn't a happy ending, but it was an ending, a chapter closed. And sometimes that's all we can ask for.